watch some of those, hear people and talk about it, and it is true. It is so true. It's hard to get ahead. Things are expensive, and that's the point I was going to briefly mention. That inflation is worse than we realize, according to most people. Smart people. You know, this CPI business. Again, I'm not a financial expert. I'm just a guy that studies a little bit and listens to a few smart people, probably a lot of dumb people. But the CPI, Consumer Price Index, is in this way we measure inflation, suppose, and all that kind of thing. Man, a lot of that's BS. It really, like we need to be told, you need to be told that. It's inflation and price inflation. Everything is worse than it really is cracked up to be and has been. And anyway, that eats away. I was reading an interesting book, the Big Print. It's called. Learned about that online. Somebody mentioned it, and I bought it. And I've gotten through the whole thing now. I learned. I was surprised it had a big chapter or two on Bitcoin and some stuff, and which I just can't get excited about. And but I actually learned more about that, more about it. It is more interesting. It's different from the other cryptos and all that. So that was interesting. I'm still, verdict's not in on me on that. I almost bought some about a year ago. And when was it? It was right at 41K. And I was really going to. And I thought, just kind of, why not? And I got into, oh man, this is complicated. I don't want to just buy an ETF. You know, I'm not buying it to speculate on the price, really. But the more I checked into it, forget it. This is involved, you know. And so I didn't. And of course now it's 140 or whatever. But anyway, yeah, I learned a lot about it. A little more. I'm more impressed with it. I understand the fascination that some of the really intelligent people have with it, but I'm not sold yet. But anyway, this author, he did a really good job explaining things, but it's written in a way that even I could get it. But he talked about disinflation and how the CPI is not indicative of the real inflation and everything, and he uses the money supply, the M2, to determine what the inflation rate is. I think he went back like 20 years, and the M2 supply is just the money that's printed. You know, how much money the government creates out of thin air and everything each year. And his calculations were something like 7 or 7.2 or over. I think it was over 7% is the average. You know, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but over the last 20 years or something like that. So when the government says it's like 3% or 2%, it's probably at least 7. It might be 10. You know. And he goes into different things that leave out of the CPI. It's bizarre. Some of the things that are not figured. The very things we buy the most. You know. But anyway, inflation eats up. It eats it up. And I keep thinking about that. If you have cash around, or in the bank, wherever it is, and it's not drawing some interest, some pretty good interest, it's just literally going down yearly. You know, if you had $10,000, you just, for safety's sake, I'm gonna stick it under the mattress. You have other investments or whatever. It's not your investment vehicle, your mattress, but I mean, you might be pretty wealthy, but you just stuck 10,000, under a mattress, like 10 years ago. Okay. Well, whatever the inflation rate is, let's say the real inflation rate, let's say it is around 7 over average, and of course it was really bad for a year or two. But anyway, say it is an average of 7. Well, do the math. If you're losing 7% a year, I mean, it's just eating away.